Okay, let's get right into it. Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive explainer on an absolute masterclass in early childhood engagement, straight from the source material over at the Nortunes channel. You know, a lot of times we picture education as like thick textbooks, right? Long lectures, super complex vocabulary. But what happens when you just strip all of that away? What happens when you reduce learning down to its absolute most foundational elemental building blocks? Well, we're going to look at this highly concise animated snippet to uncover the pedagogical secrets literally hidden inside just a few syllables. Get ready because we're about to look at early childhood media with completely fresh eyes.
Okay, let's dive into this. The entire transcript of the source material we're unpacking today is just 8 little words. Or actually, scratch that, it's more like a string of rhythmic phonetics. Ali, Bali, Ba, Ji, Ha, Ji, Ye. That's the whole shebang. In a world where educational content is constantly trying to cram more data, more flashy colors, and just way more information into every single second, this stands out as a total marvel of minimalism. Seriously, when you read it out loud, it has this inherent bounce to it. It's a built-in melody that doesn't even need a backing track to feel like a song. And trust me, that musicality, it is absolutely 100% intentional.
So you might be thinking, what do these simple sounds actually reveal about early education? Like, how can such a minimalist string of phonetics possibly achieve the really lofty educational goals promised by the source material? How does the seemingly nonsensical play actually translate into a beautiful Islamic classroom? Well, think about it. A toddler's brain isn't processing a dictionary, right? It's processing patterns, it's feeling rhythm, it's seeking emotional connection. To a developing mind, these simple little sounds are literally the architecture of engagement. They're the scaffolding for all that future, much more complex learning.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how, before a single word is even spoken, the creator, Nortunes, sets this wildly ambitious stage. Right in the metadata, through themes like beautiful Islamic classroom and kids learning with love, they're signaling to us that the primary objective here isn't rote memorization at all. It's atmosphere, it's warmth, love, spiritual aesthetics. It's just a brilliant reminder that in early childhood, the context of the environment is just as critical, maybe even more so, than the actual content. You absolutely have to create that feeling of a beautiful, loving space first, or the cognitive learning, it simply won't happen. No way.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core pedagogical structure of the entire cartoon. We can basically slice our little 8-word transcript right down the middle into 2 distinct, highly functional halves. Over on the left side, we've got the playful hook, Ali Bali Ba. This is the attention grabber, you know, that rhythmic invitation to just play. Then, on the right side, we get the affirmative response, Ji Ha Ji A. This is the emotional payoff, the responsive validation. It's your classic call and response framework, which, by the way, is one of the oldest and most effective teaching methodologies in human history. The cartoon kicks off a playful game and then instantly models the positive affirmative response. It's teaching the child not just what to hear, but exactly how to interact.
All right, let's break down that playful hook, starting with the very first sound, Ali. Just notice how sharp, how distinct that sound really is. The transition from that open A vowel straight to the bright I sound creates this immediate auditory spike. It's bouncy, it's staccato. For a toddler whose auditory processing centers are still, coming online, a sound like Ali acts as a sonic magnet. It just completely cuts through the background noise of a busy living room. It doesn't demand they understand a dictionary definition. It literally only demands that they tune into the frequency.
Which brings us right to the next rhythmic beat, Bali Ba. I mean, just try saying it out loud right now. It's inherently fun. This perfectly showcases the power of bilabial plosives. You know, those B sounds where your lips literally pop together. It's deeply, deeply satisfying for a little kid to hear, and even more fun for them to mimic. Stringing Ali together with Bali Ba crafts this universally engaging environment. A child doesn't need grammar rules or some sprawling vocabulary. They really just need to feel the rhythm. And that makes this accessible at literally any stage of early language development.
Let's move to Anik and see how this builds. Notice how the entire energy shifts right here. We're moving away from the bouncy nonsense of the hook and into the syllable G. In a lot of South Asian and Islamic cultural contexts, G is an honorific. It denotes respect and polite affirmation. The tonal delivery here is universally softer, it's warmer, it's much more grounded than those bouncy syllables we just heard. We've successfully captured their attention with play, but now we're pivoting.
We're pivoting straight toward an environment of mutual respect, validation, and a really calm readiness to learn. And that leads us seamlessly right into ha, meaning yes. In a space that's entirely dedicated to learning with love, this fundamental affirmative functions as a wildly powerful tool for positive reinforcement. The cartoon isn't barking out some complex instruction, right? It's simply agreeing with the playful energy that was established earlier. It's actively creating a psychological safe harbor where positivity isn't just a goal, it's the baseline. So the crucial point is how this whole interaction resolves. It resolves with ji-ye. It's a gentle repetition of that respectful affirmation, followed by this very soft concluding vowel sound. And boom, that closes the loop of the call and response. The playfulness was initiated, the attention was totally captured, and now it is sealed with a profound feeling of total agreement and safety. The child learns that engaging with this rhythm actually results in a comforting, affirmative conclusion. It's a brilliant emotional regulation loop, literally teaching them how to transition from high-energy play straight into a grounded, positive resting state.
Now, I want you to really think about this for a second. Why does this minimalist approach, these tiny micro interactions and super simple rhythms, why does this work so much better for early learners than traditional lecture-based education? Like, why is this so much better than sitting a toddler down and just talking at them about numbers and letters? Well, it's because a child's brain is hardwired to prioritize connection over raw data. If a child doesn't feel safe, seen, and rhythmically engaged, their cognitive pathways for higher learning simply will not open up. This minimalist approach works for sure because it speaks the absolute native language of the infant brain, the language of melody, of predictability, and of responsive play.
And this brings us to the core takeaway of our whole analysis today. When the source material promises learning with love, it isn't just some vague, feel-good sentiment. It's a highly actionable framework. It literally means prioritizing the child's feeling of safety and rhythmic engagement way above complex vocabulary that might just shut them out completely. Honestly, a musically delivered jaha does infinitely more to build a child's confidence and love for learning than 100 flashcards ever could. It builds the solid emotional foundation that all future education eventually stands upon.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I really want to leave you with this final thought. We live in a world that is just obsessed with complexity, right? But the absolute bedrock of human learning is actually astonishingly simple. How do the simplest sounds, a bouncy Ali, a comforting G, how do they shape our most foundational learning environments? They do it by reminding us that long before we are students of facts, we are students of feeling. So I challenge you, look at the media, the cartoons, the books you see around early learners with totally fresh eyes. Listen for that rhythm. Look for that affirmation. Because sometimes the most beautiful classrooms in the world are built on nothing more than 8 simple musical syllables. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.